Dorchester and Dorset might not be the first place you'd look for great food, but Russell Brown's attention to flavours and simplicity has won him a Michelin star and an entry in the Waitrose Good Food Guide.
Getting the Michelin star changed things a lot. It upped our business levels dramatically, and it was probably timing-wise the saving grace, as it were, right at the start of the recession. To have achieved that then made a big difference, I think. And it's improved our lunch business and the midweek business. And yeah, we're not making a fortune, I'll be honest. And we work long hours and work hard. But we've got a nice product and a nice team. We don't turn tables. There isn't the time or, as well, the interest in the later tables. If you offer somebody an 8:30 table on a Saturday night, it's not unusual for them to turn it down as being too late. We've got sautéed squid, slow-cooked chorizo, and a blood orange and olive oil puree. It's a nice clean dish, but some quite good flavours in there. I suppose the philosophy behind it is about the balance of flavours. We take some chorizo, which we slow cook in the water bath for 12 hours at 75 degrees, so it's a cooking chorizo, and that turns it into an almost pate-like texture, very, very soft, melting, and then we just pan fry that. Good textural contrasts, and again bringing in the seasonality. Blood oranges are around for such a short period of time. We try and get them in where we can, and the acidity of the oranges helps to balance out the sweetness of the squid, the slight spice of the chorizo. A few chickpeas on there for some texture as well, and a little bit of neutral balance as well. We've got a 28-day aged sirloin, which we prepare slightly differently in that we take it down to a completely lean eye of meat, split the eye lengthways, and then portion it, and it almost looks like a fillet on the plate. Again, we cook that in the water bath, 48 degrees for about 30 minutes, and then finish it with in a hot pan with some thyme and some butter. And we've kind of taken the take on a pasty to go with that. So we've got a meat and potato gratin that we serve with that. So potato, onion, swede, and then it's got a layer of braised shin in the middle. So you get those classic sort of pasty type flavours coming through that. Garnish that with some crispy shallot rings, a little bit of wild garlic and shallot puree. And again, that's sort of looking at the seasonality and different textures and temperatures. We've got a salad on there with some pickled shallot rings. So again, you've got shallots in 3 different forms there. It makes a relatively ordinary beef dish hopefully a bit more interesting. We're doing duck 2 ways basically with that. So we've got a roast breast, and then we've got a confit leg. But we're making a duck consommé to go with it and serving it with some spring vegetables. So we've got things like baby carrots, radishes, spring onions, almost in a broth style, with some parsley potato dumplings, and we layer up the duck confit between 2 layers of spinach in a ring and carve the duck breast over the top of it. And that's a very light dish. It's nice and clean. The consommé's got a good rich flavour, but you've got all those spring vegetables in there as well. Again, I suppose they're fairly classical influences with the confit and the roast breast of duck, but the consommes may be slightly different, actually serving it in the bowl. I just wanted to bring some spring vegetables into it, again the seasonality, and it's about trying to balance the flavours. I like vegetables to balance a plate, to stop things being too rich, to clean things up, and then we've got the confit in there as well, which gives you that nice rich meat using both parts of the duck. We've got an apricot dish on at the moment, which is an apricot and mascarpone dessert. So it's a mascarpone and vanilla mousse. We've got a cannelloni that's made with an apricot jelly. We've got some poached apricots, and that's poached dried apricots because we put this on a couple of months ago. It's in a bit of doldrums at that time of year for the pastry side. There isn't a fantastic amount of grapefruit around, so we've got pears and apples, but we've used either frozen puree or all dried fruit for this dish. So it's got a bit of almond sponge with it, and I think that's where maybe some of my cooking style comes from, is that I didn't spend very long working for other people before I ended up being a head chef, and I've worked for myself for quite some time. So a lot of it is about the experimentation that I've done, and that's created my own style. The seasonality for me will continue to be really important, the quality of the ingredients, and we probably do sort of work towards simplifying things, really, if anything. Just delivering great flavours and good textural contrasts, that sort of thing, but without making it too complicated.